Man, okay. Here we go. Back at it again after last week with Mandy from Horrible Decisions. First of all, I want to thank Mandy. I want to thank all of the positive and negative commentary. Yo, y'all are crazy. Mandy is something fucking else, man. I swear to God. I don't even want to know how many dicks she sucked since the last show. Like, literally, like, I'm just like, yo, this girl is, and she's just, unapologetically her. And I, for one, appreciate that. If y'all know me, that's how I am. So to meet somebody that's my polar opposite, like somebody that's just like me and doesn't care, just out there, puts it out there. Listen, judge if you want. I am who I am. It was very refreshing for me. For those of you who are familiar with the history of the show, I have touched on today's topic sometimes through things that have gone on in the media or just things that have happened, questions that me and my ex-co-host used to talk about homosexuality. I've always come off as if I'm homophobic, you guys would say, and you don't understand, and you guys need somebody up there who can talk to you about these things and who can address these topics, because y'all don't know what y'all talking about, and all y'all do is offend. I took that to heart. I said to myself, you know what? It would be ignorant of me, not that I don't mind being ignorant, but I also do like being educated, especially when I've said something or if I've given off the wrong impression. I want to know where I was wrong at. And so I did my research, and I reached out to a young man who has a podcast, Mr. Xavier Dleau. Oh, shit. Is your mic off? Holy shit. Turn it on at the top. Yep. Up there you go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. You couldn't hear yourself all this time. You couldn't hear
I can't hear myself. I want to feel myself like Tweet. That's what Jesus said.
Oh, man. So Mr. XD is what he goes by. XD. I have questions about that name, but we will get to that soon. And he has a podcast with Jade. It's called Jade and XD.
Yeah.
I've listened to the show.
Oh.
Awesome. Recently, because like you had to do your research on me.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I wish I would have sent you the episodes that were inflaming.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I guess that way you could have wait, whose mic is this? Is this your mic? What's my mic? Yeah, that's your mic. I turned it up a little bit. And for one, you guys, I read your reviews, right? From the beginning, they're like, you got some people that love your show, and then you got people that are like, yo, y'all are out there, Jade is racist. Listen, Jade, if you're listening, please don't beat me up. I don't want no trouble. I'm trying to have a productive conversation here. I'm not trying to offend anybody.
Nah, Jade is fine.
You sure?
Yeah, absolutely. She knows I'm here. She knows I'm here today.
Oh, so she'll be like the first listen.
Yeah,
she'll be paying attention. All right. So
yeah,
I don't want, like I said, I don't want any trouble.
I'm probably even more problematic than you, so it doesn't matter.
I don't think that's possible.
Oh, you should hear what you don't hear on the podcast.
Oh yeah, it's always like that.
Yeah. But no, I get that. But go ahead.
No, just tell us a little bit about yourself and who is XD.
Hi, I'm XD. Normally I would do my AKAs, but this isn't my show. But I am a humorist, writer, social commentator, all that good shit. I am by trade and licensed social worker. So that should make this conversation a little bit more interesting, right? But I like to have fun. I like long walks on the beach. But no, we have a podcast. Jade and I, we have a good time. We're just two best friends who talk about nigga shit all day.
How did y'all meet? You and Jade, like?
Funniest story. We had a mutual friend and who was in town, and I didn't know her then, and so we happened to be at Vapiano's on 14th Street, and so she looked kind of like she would be a part, and so I was like, you looking for so-and-so? She was like, yeah. I said, all right, well, we over here. She was like, okay. So, the friend comes, we all hanging out cool. She just stops, and she was like, hey, you go to Desire? And I was like, for all intents and purposes, Desire, it was this gay bar that served like wings and shit, and I was like, yeah. And she was just like, yeah. Me and my cousin go all the time. You should come with us. I said,
Is Jade gay?
no. She's married with a kid.
That don't mean that she ain't
That's
gay.
very true, but no, she's not. We joke around and call her a dyke, but no, she's not. I was like, oh, okay, we can do it, sure. And then nothing happened after that. And then another friend came into town and was just like, come hang out, Jade. Come hang out with me and Jade. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So we hung out. We had the greatest day. And then one time we just decided to hang out with one another. And then that was like 7 years ago. We just been BFFs ever since.
It's funny to me that you mentioned that. I wasn't even going to think. Excuse me. Hold on a second. Mm-hmm. I'm a gassy individual. Thank God it came out this way.
Oh my gosh.
It's funny to me that you mentioned that. I feel like now you're out homosexual man.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm here. I'm queer. All that.
I am here.
Yeah.
It's funny to me that you homosexual men in my mind. Right now, listen.
I don't want you to trip over your words. I want you to use whatever language you feel is comfortable. I understand you're worrying about not to offend me or anybody, but in order to have this kind of conversation that you want to have, use whatever kind of word you like. However, I'm going to impose a safe word.
Okay. What's the safe word?
Kujijakalia.
Oh, okay. We're using Kwanzaa.
Yeah. Because where the fuck that show up? Like at all.
Yeah, right. That won't just pop into the conversation.
Yeah, not at all.
So in entering this conversation, I'm like, yo, I don't want to offend anybody. I literally want to have a productive conversation between a heterosexual man, a homosexual man.
Yeah.
Let's figure out what the fuck is wrong with the way I view homosexuality, with the way what I think about how y'all attack us. When we say the wrong thing or we're trying to look for understanding or we come up, why can't we fucking figure this shit out?
Yeah.
Right? So that's my whole reason for having this show. I want to talk about homophobia. I want to talk about things that I might not understand. And please, if you ever feel like you want to take control of the conversation and send some shit back at me, let me know. And we're going to do that the way we do that. And here we go. Now, What I do want to understand.
Yeah.
Why do all my homegirls have gay besties? Like, why is it that y'all get to, why do y'all get to bond like that? Like, I don't know if I'm jealous, but I know that my wardrobe would be a lot better if I had some gay friends.
That's not necessarily true because as you see, I'm dressed like Solange today. Not to say that Solange dresses poorly.
You did say that. Because I went to Solange concert and that shit was gayed out.
Yeah.
Don't be offending Solange.
Niggas dress like cranes in the sky every fucking day, like Russell Wilson and Russell Westbrook and shit. That's crazy. But what's interesting? I don't have many women friends.
Why is that? Like, do you any self-introspective? Like, yo, why is that?
I thought about this actually listening to your show. I thought about why. I thought when I was listening to the episode with you and your child's mother, and I thought about your kids, and they're growing and they're twins, and I thought about what does that mean for them, and there was the conversation about you not being there, right, for an extended period of time. So I thought about what that meant for me because my father had went to prison and wasn't necessarily there as well. So I was like, well, what the fuck does that mean to me? And so internal therapy, which I think we all need to do sometimes. And I figured maybe I don't have as many women friends is because I only grew up around women for the most part. And so maybe I'm trying to replicate some manness that I missed out on. Some man camaraderie. Like I didn't really have like a positive male influence kind of thing. Like I had my uncles. One is a drunkle. Everybody has one in the family, and the other one, he was there but not there. He had his own family issues to deal with. So I kind of gathered that most of my friends that are in my phone book that I hang out with on a regular basis are men. This isn't to say that I'm not really good friends or BFFs with like Jade or even Crystal or Dr. Kia, all those people that people may see, but I've just realized recently, like in the last week or so, that's probably why I don't have any women friends. But to answer your question, I think sometimes I do think men and women kind of understand each other more so than they let on. I think a lot of times everybody just wants to be right. And so I think there is something special to be had with a woman and man kind of dichotomy dynamic. And it just so happens that there seems to be, not all the time, there seems to be less of a threat from a gay man and a woman kind of relationship, because sometimes women are always on the defense of like, oh, this nigga want to fuck. Or as you see in the news, they might be like rapists and shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like I have this male presence, but without the threat of all the other bullshit that may or may not happen.
Okay.
And then sometimes I feel like
I just get jealous. No, because y'all get to grab their ass and shit.
That's not necessarily true.
No, y'all get to pat their titties like, oh, these is nice. Let me see your titties. Y'all get to do shit like that. Like I can't. I can't do that shit.
I mean, you could, depending upon what kind of relationship. It all depends on the relationship. I will always say that gay men can be just as misogynistic as straight men, and it's true. Because gay men say some wild shit about women, and I've had to be like, hey, let's reel that in. Just because, you know, y'all both like dick doesn't mean that you can't be offensive, right? But it all depends on the relationship. So if you're jealous of that relationship, then that's fine. But, you know.
Okay.
It's all depending upon the dynamic.
When I look at women, I'd say it wrong, all right? So I say woman wrong all the time. So you might hear me go women and then go women, because I'm supposed to spell it with an I-M-M in my head so that I know it's women instead of woman.
There's a okay.
Just bear with me.
All right.
When I look at the relationship between women and gay men,
yeah,
I wonder who's stealing whose swag. At this point in my life, I look at it and I don't know if you're acting like them now or they are acting like you more now, or is what you're doing an act. Like sometimes I wonder why y'all voices go up. If you're gay, if you like dick, like, is it because the penis like hits something inside of you, just makes you go, hey, and that's just where your voice stays? Or is it like something that has something to do with the fact that you like men? I need to know. Why do y'all talk that way? Are y'all taking shit from women? Think about it like this, right? You said you wanted to have a conversation.
Right? We're here. You talk like a sissy. I hear you. No, that's interesting. So there's two schools of thought. It's kind of like the chicken and the egg, right? So some people believe that gay men are acting like women, but in turn, gay men will say, well, who did they learn all this lingo from? Like, yes, bitch, yes, work, right.
Exactly.
This is what I call Queen's English.
Right. No, seriously.
Yeah. And it is some queer scholars would say
this guy
that no, some people would say like it's gay men who they get it from, gay femme culture. They're from how even going back to like the 60s and 50s, like Little Richard and things of that nature, and even before that. And there's a lot of like performance in this whole idea of like how, you know what? You know Shakespeare plays?
I know a few.
Yeah. You know Shakespeare used to have men play women?
Absolutely. All the time.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that, right? This whole idea of what men perceive women should act or how they should be. And sometimes and through the course of the years, and those lines got blurred, and where these ideas of what men think women should act like turn into what women think they should act like. That's this whole idea of like feminism, right? Like, no, it's what stop imposing your madness on me. But that's kind of what it is. So it's like the lines get blurred where you're trying to figure out, well, who started who? Are you trying to act like a man? Trying to like a woman? Those is a little confusing, a little blurred. But as far as sometimes as
so, do gay men, the ones who are flamboyant or the ones who have a lighter voice, because there are some that are just gay and they live regular, you wouldn't even know.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're in the closet, but that's just how they be. They're regular dudes, but they just like dick, right?
Yeah.
are the ones who have a lighter voice or who have that switch or who, have their hand.
Who are
they
a little
believe-
bit more effeminate than others.
Right.
Sure.
Are they projecting like that they think they should behave that way because they're gay? Is that really them?
I don't think there's one way to be gay or to perform gay. I mean, I guess you can say it's a performance, right? Anything that we do is a performance. How you perform as a straight masculine acting guy, you watch sports, you go to the gym.
So it's learned behavior.
Yeah, I think it can be learned behavior. Sometimes it's what people identify with. You identify as the guy who, I see your gym bag over there. So you're active, you're this whole
I haven't been to the gym in forever. But.
Well, either way, like you get what I mean. Like there's this idea that you have in your head of what a man's supposed to be. I do think a lot of times in gay culture there are some learned behaviors. Even in Black culture, there are certain things that we as Black people think we're supposed to do, and that may or may not be true. Sometimes people go against the grain. Some people even exasperate that even a little bit more. Like, I often think about disciplining your kids. And Blacks tend to think that whooping a kid is the way to go, right? Like, get the belt or whatever. When in reality, a lot of things that are tradition may not be right. Not to saying that people who perform feminism or femininity as gay men is wrong or right or anything. I'm trying to get this whole contextual idea of like, well, sometimes things are learned behaviors.
Okay.
However they choose to identify. If they feel more comfortable being more effeminate and that's who they are, then sure, why not?
Now, me being a man, being around men who consider themselves men's men, right?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Where did you learn how to be a man?
Me personally, I don't.
Only you.
I'm gonna say, in the street. I was raised by my mother.
You're an only child.
I'm an only child.
Yeah.
I was raised by my mother. Yeah. Before my mother got this house, we lived with my grandmother with 3 aunts. There were no men.
Yeah.
All of my uncles were out doing whatever they do. I'd never spent time with them. My father wasn't around like that.
Yeah.
And then when I went to school, my mother tried to take me to football practice, right? Once I remember. She took me to football practice. I guess she wanted to toughen me up. And
this is interesting.
For those of you who know what football practice is like, there's like 200 jumping jacks, there's push-ups, there's running.
It's low-key slavery.
Dog.
Yeah.
I did about 20 and I started crying.
Yeah, fuck that.
I started crying. And my mother's on the sideline like, go ahead, do it. And I'm crying and I'm breaking down and the coach is like, all right, just go over there because you just, like, you don't belong here.
Sissy. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. This is the last time I went. I did my best. I cried,
Yeah.
So I spent time around. I had girl cousins, right? As I grew up, I realized I wasn't cool as a dude. I just didn't fit in with the guys. I would go outside, I would get beat up, I would get chased around. I remember one time these dudes from this block I was living, I came out and somehow I wound up being swung from side to side like a hammock. Like one dude had my hands, the other dude had my feet, and they swinging me right from side to side.
I don't mean to laugh at your pain,
and
but
my
it's
mom
funny.
looked out the window and was like, "What are you doing? Why are you letting them do that to you?" And that was literally my life. Sometimes I would go to the park and get chased home. I wasn't ready to be a dude.
Yeah.
I got scared of the street. I was super scared of the street.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I can relate this back to you when you said you went looking for men.
Yeah.
Right? I went to try to find out. I was a Cosby kid. Grew up in the Brownstone. Went to Bronx High School of Science, probably one of the best high schools in New York at the time. I didn't like going to class. I just was always rebelling. I was trying to find something that made me feel at home. I didn't feel at home anywhere, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't cool to the girls. I wasn't cool to the guys. I was just this, sissy boy, right? That was just still heterosexual, but still sissy boy. Like, you ain't cool. The woman like masculine dudes. And the guys like dudes that they can relate to. You know what I mean? And I wasn't nowhere in there.
Yeah.
At some point, I started cutting class. playing basketball became my home. I was lanky. I was able to, so that was something that I fit in that. And slowly but surely, I started selling weed, this, that, hanging out in the corner.
All this is because you thought this is what it was to be manly.
I was trying to find out. Maybe I was trying to conquer my fear, right? And
what was your fear?
Being scared. Just being scared of the street, being scared of men, being scared of getting beat up, being scared of not fitting in, being scared of not being cool.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And the streets is funny because I acted like a girl. I was a crab. I remember my friends like, yo, you a crab. We asking you for some of your food. You like, no, you always act, you going against the grain all the time. Like, this is not how we men move. You do shit girls do. I remember that. I remember them telling me that. And I'd be like, I don't care. But it did resonate. It was in my head that I was acting this way. And so I would change the way that I naturally was acting to be more masculine.
So it sounds to me that your masculinity was based on what other people told you what it was.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. Or what I saw.
Okay.
So I started walking like my friends.
Do you see how this is kind of a problem?
I see
how it can be a problem in regards to gay shit, right?
Go ahead.
Because it's like you're being told how to be in order to fit in, as opposed to just being who you are and having people accept you for who you are. And that's where the problem lies. Because at this point, it sounds like to me you're living for other people. And this is the kind of problems that gay people go through, right? This whole idea of like, you act like a girl, you talk like a girl. Why are you talking like this? Be this person because this is who you're supposed to be. As opposed to just letting people, and I hate this phrase, but live their truth.
Be yourself.
Yeah. That's where people, if they walk with a switch or have a limp in their wrist or, they get Fenty Beauty or whatever the fuck, or however they choose to present and identify themselves. It's because they're living who they want to be as opposed to somebody telling them who they're supposed to be. So it's as all your life you were fighting against going against the grain. And that's what gay people are doing sometimes.
That's super. Wow. You really broke that shit down like really well. Yeah. Did you have any problem doing that yourself? Like, say you grew up in a house full of women. You were the only man. At what did there were, I guess your uncles were there, but did they ever, at what point did you realize that you were gay? At what point did you start expressing it? Did you get any kickback from the people around you?
Often when I asked you, where did you learn what it was like to be a man or how do you learn all that? My mother never taught me how to be a man or did these things. I remember the only like quote unquote boy thing she ever did for me was enroll me in Boy Scouts. And the only reason she did that, but not because that's what I needed to do, is because I wanted to do, because my little white best friends were doing it. And so I was like, well, but that's a race conversation, but, but if they want to do it, then why couldn't I? And so she was like, I don't think black people do that, but all right. I was the only little black one in there, whatever. And we did all these boy things and I eventually left. And that's the only thing she ever really, she didn't make me, she made me do because she paid for it. But other than that, like, it wasn't like you need to do this. Actually, no, I'm lying. I never realized this until now. Or I guess I forgot about it. I remember one time I was 6 and I was with my cousin and I said I wanted to play house. I guess this is kind of an early onset of when I kind of thought I was a little gay. I said, let's play house. And my mother was like, no, you need to go outside and play in the mud. So we lived in an apartment complex at the time. And so I'm originally from California. So like the complexes are like, it was just odd how like, nigga, there's no mud. Like what the fuck? Like she purposely like found like the driest patch of like where there was like no grass, whatever, like this obscure part of the complex and made mud. Like found a whole bunch of water and like made me play in the mud. It was probably like a deleted scene from Moonlight or some shit. I don't fucking know. But I just realized that now. But I think that's the only time that's ever happened. But my mother, I guess, eventually, unknowingly, didn't teach me how to be a man so much as to be a good person, which I guess is the most important thing. But when I started showing signs, I guess, I think I would always make statements like, oh, I never want to get married, or I'm never having kids. And I guess intrinsically that was maybe me saying that because I didn't really like girls like that. I mean, I had a girlfriend. I actually had sex with a girl. Mm. Yeah, I don't know how you do it. But that shit is rough. Like, have you seen a vagina? That shit is crazy,
bro. I don't know. Yeah, you look at balls all day. Like, I look at my own shit. I don't know how somebody be licking on these motherfuckers.
Yeah, sometimes. Sex is gross.
You do that shit. Listen, more power to you.
Vagina's like this. It looks like tarantulas. But I think what really kind of like, it's a funny story, and I guess we'll save it. How I was like, oh shit, I am gay. It was Y2K. Mm-hmm. It was 99 going into 2000. Mind you, I already had an experience with a boy before.
How old were you at the time?
Oh, it was 97, so I was 11.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's funny. It was during Pokemon the movie.
Pokemon. Yeah, we really
poked each other's mind. Really but you know, it was 11. No, I mean, no one really knows what the fuck they're doing at 11. However, there are shows where they have teen pregnancy and people get pregnant at 11. That shit is wild. But you know, I didn't really know what that meant. You know, I remember, you know, seeing. You know, when your parents take you to an R-rated movie and they tell you close your eyes, but you still look through it anyway. Mm-hmm. And so I guess I had some sort of idea of what sex was. And I remember in 97, that's when like AOL first started happening, like AOL 1.0 and shit. And so for whatever reason, my cousin came over because we were the only people that had the computer. And he found, and of course, niggas love porn. So however reason, on 28.8K on the dial-up, this nigga had porn and shit on the computer. So I was like intrigued. So I kind of had this idea of what sex was. And so I had this experience with the guy and with the boy, and then fast forward to 99, there was a show that came out called Queer as Folk on Showtime. Mm-hmm. And I remember watching, my mother went to night watch service, and my grandmother went to sleep or whatever. So I remember watching that whole thing. I was like, oh, this is super interesting. That's hella crazy. Mm-hmm. So I was like, maybe, you know, whatever. And then January 2nd happened.
It's you really funny. Remember the date?
No, I remember the date, and a lot of women will too.
That's the thing. That's something that girls.
No. There's a reason why. I'll tell you the story.
Girls remember dates. That's all I'm saying. I don't remember the.
There's because it's a monumental thing that happened in like pop culture.
Okay.
And everybody mimicked this in pop culture. So I remember staying up late. It was during Christmas break and all that good stuff. And I remember watching Midnight Love on BET. And the very last video they showed was a brand new video. It was directed by Paul Hunter. And I remember it was a very simple video. It was black screen, had like the little click thing, and it just said Untitled on it. Mm. And it was D'Angelo's Untitled video.
How does it feel?
Yeah. Holy and shit. That's when I knew, goddammit.
You caught a boner to D'Angelo? Nah, you blew it? Yo, that's mad gay, son.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. Gay. I'm not going to lie to you.
Were you embarrassed?
I didn't. No.
You replayed the shit.
Well, I didn't have enough time to record this shit on VHS. But best believe I did when it came on the next night. But no, I was just like, oh shit, no, I like boys. But the funny part was I had sex with a girl after that.
Right. But that was learned behavior. You having sex with a girl was something that you thought
because later I remember around my birthday, I remember my cousin came over, and I guess he was like one of those, I guess the male influence. He's older. He's like 5-6 years older than me. He'll probably listen to this episode because he listens to the show.
Mm-hmm.
But he always told me, he was like, when you get a girl, don't go white, go light. And I was like, nigga, what? And so I remember he was like, yeah, this girl likes you at church. Her name was Erica. Now, Erica was a little older than me. I was 13 and she was 15, and Erica was a freak. So I was like, all right, whatever. And she was cool. She was pretty, brown skin thing. She went to a neighboring high school, so I didn't really have to see her like that. Mm-hmm. So it was like, ooh, thank God.
Right.
But yeah, she
hit it and quit you.
Yeah.
Was you knocking that down like a lot?
No, it happened. It happened once.
Did you feel violated? Did you feel?
No, it was like, oh, okay. Like, how like you go like to Applebee's and like, it's not good, but you just eat there. Just like, okay, well, I'm not hungry anymore.
Yo, like
it was like, all right, it's cool.
Oh shit!
Like it's cool. Like if I have to do it again, I guess, But like I know they microwave their food, so I'm like, I'm straight on that. But like, and then eventually I have a lobster. I was like, oh shit, and that's what happened.
Okay, so this is let's going back. I have so many damn questions. I don't even know if we're gonna have enough time for all of these fucking questions.
It's fine.
A lot of questions regarding homosexuality. You kind of just touched on them, right?
Yeah.
People wonder, is it a choice? Were you born that way? Is it something that happened? Were you born gay? A lot of people ask that.
You know the easiest way to answer that question? I'm going to assume that more women listen to your show than men.
Mm-hmm. I would think so.
And that's just by stats and data that women tend to use the internet more.
Right.
I've also learned that women tend to be just as homophobic, if not more homophobic than men.
Why would you? Oh, that's a good. I want to hit that.
Oh, it's because of Christianity. It ruined everything. But we'll talk about that because there's a book I'm going to make you read.
Okay.
But I say this. In regards to being straight, right? And this is no offense to you. Men are the biggest threat to women ever. Everything bad that has happened in the history of the world has been done by a man. Right?
I would assume so.
Hitler, Stalin, so. Lenin, Castro, Nixon, Trump. Take your pick.
Mm-hmm.
But women continue to have sex and marry men. Men also rape people,
Mm-hmm.
You were even attacked on your own show because of your choices or mistakes that you may or may not have made.
Mm-hmm. I've made several. I'm one of them guys. So you talking about me and things that I've done, and it's what I thought was cool to do as a man.
I can assure you that at some point or at any given moment, you can call some woman on your phone and tell her to come over, and she would.
Mm-hmm. Even ones that I've done wrong.
Correct. And that is how I prove that this shit is not a choice.
Please do. Please continue. Please explain that.
Because if that was the case, why would I subject myself to all of what I just told you on purpose?
So what you're saying is, why would I face the wrath of straight men? Because we're talking about straight men.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
See, I had somewhere else that I was going to go with that.
Because it's like,
So you don't think gay men are a threat to women? There's no gay man that's ever been a threat to women.
No, I think all men can be a threat to women, gay or straight. I'm just saying in this example, why would I go back to somebody that's doing me wrong on purpose? It's almost like an abusive relationship. You're choosing to do it. People have this idea of what it means to choose or whatever. I think that people are born. I think, how do I say this correctly? I don't think we as a people are born straight or gay. I think we have tendencies to lean towards one thing or another. Because I can say I'm attracted to a woman, but I would never have sex with her.
Mm-hmm.
Like
a woman is sexy. Period.
Sure. Like Rihanna, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Rihanna, amazing.
She just gives off sex.
Yeah, amazing.
Her eye blinks and you just think sex.
Who did I say that I would go straight for? God, what's her name? She's on the Haves and Have-Nots.
I have no idea.
She's beautiful. She just had a baby by a white man. But anyway.
She just had a baby by
a white man. Listeners know who the fuck I'm talking about. Tika Sumpter. There you go.
Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm.
But I say these things, but I don't think I would. Maybe if I was presented, maybe I would have sex with her. But
I feel like you just make her your bestie.
No.
I feel like that just suits more than you thinking to enter in that type of relationship.
I don't think but I find her sexually attractive or appealing to me.
You think she'd give you a boner?
Yeah. I also think sometimes sex is just merely simple friction.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I feel like you probably boned an ugly chick or two in your past.
Just to get it over with. I'm just masturbated with her body.
Exactly. That's my point. There's this episode of Nip Tuck, great show, by the way, where they both fucked this girl and she purposely put a bag over her head. Yeah. Because she desperately wanted to get fucked by one of the doctors. Great episode. But I think that, okay. So there's the Kinsey scale, right? Have you ever heard of it?
I have, but I'm not familiar enough to.
Dr. Kinsey developed this scale and explained that sexuality is on a spectrum and not necessarily you're gay or straight or bi or whatever. Like, it's like a gradient, you know, like a ombre of like sex, right? So 1 meaning you're completely straight, hetero, feed me steak and eggs and blowjobs, yeah. And then there's gay, and 6 where it's just like absolutely not. Vagina makes me throw up, right? For the most part, a lot of us lie in the middle. You know, I think sometimes through socialization, we tend to lead to one end of the spectrum or the other until you unlearn a lot of things, and you might find yourself a little bit in the middle, depending upon if you like it or not. I'm not saying everybody has to be bi or you're bad if you're not attracted to men or you're bad if you're not attracted to women. No, I just feel like there's a fluidity kind of thing there. Like I have a friend of mine, Manny and I have a friend of mine, have a mutual friend, and she is very sex positive, and I use that term in the actual sense, not what Twitter thinks it is. And she was very like, she only fucked niggas like, ooh, they straight out of prison, yada, yada, yada. As time gone on and she unlearned a lot of things, she's totally into couples now and had a girlfriend, like dates women, like
she'll do whatever. As long as she finds it sexy, she'll do whatever she wants to do. But I find like that's easier for women to do. I feel like women can explore as much of their sexuality as they possibly want, whether it be 1, 2, whatever, and it's cool for a woman to do.
Why isn't it cool? Why isn't it cool for a man to do? Because on the last episode, you said that if a man has sex or is being anally penetrated, he is gay. Those were your words.
Don't know if I actually said that because I'm willing
well,
to have the conversation.
You actually won't let me say this.
I said me. I don't know if I don't even know if I said that particularly, but let me explain. Me personally, I just don't feel comfortable with something ramming in my ass. Finger,
It's not.
tongue.
It's not a comfortable situation.
I just don't feel comfortable with the thought of it. I
Right.
don't want to like it. I
Right.
don't want to be fucking a chick and my ass start getting wet because I don't want to, like, because I would be embarrassed. I would be like, yo, like, I'm literally thinking about what this other chick did to me while I'm fucking. I'm not getting off no more because now I want my fucking sphincter punched or whatever the hell that is. I don't want to be turned on by these thoughts. So to protect what I think masculinity is, me personally,
Right.
that's where I stay.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm cool with that. I understand that there's an insecurity
but
there.
you also said though that masculinity is literally in the ass.
Masculinity?
Yeah, you
It's
said
in
that.
the ass?
Yeah, you said that.
I don't understand.
I don't know what the fuck you said, nigga. That's
How
what
is
you said
masculinity in the ass?
That's what you said in your last podcast. Go listen. In the last
I be
episode.
saying a lot. She be giving me drinks and shit. I said masculinity is in the ass.
Yeah, you sure did.
I mean, masculinity maybe
I
in the
did-
past.
Okay.
Because I feel like
because you said like if somebody is having anal sex, then that means their masculinity is gone.
I do,
And
feel,
you can say that.
I do. I know.
Okay.
Listen. I don't have any problem being the offensive or whatever, right? But I don't believe innately. I just don't know if a dude is craving strap on
Okay.
from a woman. If that's what he's doing, I mean, I guess you're just a freak. You can be just a freak. It doesn't make you gay.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily make you gay. What makes you gay then? Like, is it you liking men? Like, what is gay? What is gay? Like, and then what is the range of being gay? Like, does it stop at sexual preference? Does it affect the way you view the world? Today, you commented on one of my tweets and you said, straight people are interesting.
Yeah.
But the only thing that I would say, and I may be wrong, is different between you and me, is that I like women and you like men.
You're absolutely right.
So then what is gay? Because if it's not liking the sex part, if it's not just being interested in the sex part, then what exactly is it?
Sure. There's no universal answer to that question.
That's what I thought of it.
No. Because it's like, what does being straight mean?
Straight means you like women.
No, not all the time. Because what about people who choose to not have sex with anybody else? What if they are asexual? What if they are celibate? What about nuns? Are nuns straight?
I would say that celibates are abstaining from sex from their desired partner. So it doesn't affect their sexual pre-orientation, their orientation. It's just
But how do you know that they're actually how do you know that they're actually straight? How do you know if they're not gay?
I wouldn't be able to tell it. Only that person in particular, because there could be a celibate gay woman or
because
gay man.
the question you're asking me, I'm going to ask you.
Oh, I see where you're going. I see.
How do we get to this define? I think what happens is it comes to a level of who we commit to as a people, right? Mm-hmm. If you are comfortable with labeling yourself as a heterosexual man, or as the academics say, cis heterosexual. Cis meaning you were born as a male and present as such. Because you could be like trans hetero. Mm-hmm. But you are a cis hetero man, right? Mm-hmm. Or and me as a cis meaning as
not SIS.
No,
because I take offense to being called cis.
And I get that. I wouldn't misgender you. but no, cis is a Latin root word prefix. Okay. And I don't know. Ooh, straight men are so. I get people like, why are you using cis? Like, nigga, it's Latin. Read.
But why they couldn't just be like, bro? Like,
because there is a reason why. Because I mean, I don't know. That's what doctors came up with. But it brings up to this point about how you define things, right? So in your conversation last week, because this all applies to being gay, how do you define? Let me ask you this: do you think you're sex positive?
No, because I am not willing to explore men.
What?
Isn't sex positive means that you can do whatever you want, whatever you feel makes you happy in the moment, right? Like your homegirl, she can have women, she can have men, she could go back to women, doesn't matter, right? That's what sex positive is, right?
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with you fucking a nigga. Like,
I don't want to fuck niggas, so that means I'm not sexual positive.
No. If you're going to be sex positive, right, it's all about your desires. If you don't have a desire to have sex with men, that doesn't make you not sex positive.
We need to Google this. I need to know what sex
positivity is the movement that allows people to rid themselves of all knowledge of the authoritative beings.
Then that means no, I'm not. Because I'm not willing
you haven't
to
even allowed me to
my
explain.
anal cavity.
No, shut up. No. Right. You know who Wilhelm Reich is?
No, why do you know these people? You know
because I'm trying
people.
You
know a lot of people.
Do you want to get pussy or not?
All right, good. I love it. You gonna teach me a game? You gonna teach me how to get some pussy? Gotta tell me. Please tell me. Now, hurry up, tell me.
All right. So he's this wild white guy, right? And he wrote this book called Sexual Politics or Sexual Revolution in 1939. It's a 2-part book. It's like 200 something pages. I'm going to encourage you to read it. Okay. He talks about how the way we teach sex as a means of how to keep the population in control and to keep the current economic system moving. He talks about there are certain contentions that there are things. It's essentially sex related in economics terms. The reason why we learn the way sex is about homosexuality, abortion, and all these things is because it's the only way we can keep capitalism going. Mm-hmm. So, for example, people having children, right? A lot of people shame people for not having children, mm-hmm. or having multiple partners, using condoms, abortions, because it's not the standard patriarchal way of keeping a family. Because the only way to keep the capitalism moving is if you have kids and you keep birthing the cycle. If you are gay or lead an alternative lifestyle, you are unable to reproduce, and therefore that's why they ridicule gay people all the time. Because of the fact that you're not normal, you can't have kids, you're
mm-hmm.
not one
mm-hmm.
of us.
Mm-hmm.
Why we shame women for having multiple partners, right? Because of the fact that that's not what women are supposed to do in a religious base or religious sense. A lot of things are tied to religion and economics. So I say that to you. I say all this to say to you to read the book and also to forget everything that you know about sexuality, about women. Well, not everything. But in order for you to have a full sexual experience, and this does not include having sex with men, because it's a desire. If you have no desire to have sex with men, then you don't have a desire to have sex with men. Sexual positivity has nothing to do with you going out of your norm and what you're attracted to. Sex positivity is this idea of like ridding all this idea of like politics assigned to sex. So I oftentimes, when people think of how you view of homosexuality, it's also rooted in this idea of oppression, right? you don't like me because I'm gay because I cannot do the things that you do, or you assume that I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Fucked your head up, didn't it?
No.
Okay.
You said so many things that I wanted to speak on, and I want to make sure that we keep this going in the direction that I want it to go. So,
Yeah.
what I am going to do,
I definitely want you to read
feel
the book.
that men, straight men,
Yeah.
are protective of their heterosexuality.
As they should.
I feel
Why not?
that they feel we are under attack.
Who's attacking you?
I feel, well, let me
Okay.
just get this.
I'll get it out. Get it out.
You said earlier that men are the biggest threat to women, right?
It's
And
statistically proven.
Right. Well, Well, hey, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
And so I feel that the reason I'm trying to go towards the homophobia. I'm trying to get towards the reason why you would feel oppressed by our views, straight male views on what's happening in the culture today. And why not even whether you feel that way or whether it's the actuality of why we try to keep you in a certain space that keeps it the way we have lived or what we feel is comfortable, the norm.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you feel that you're under attack? In general.
By
gay
homosexual?
people? Mm-hmm. Be honest.
I have evolved over the last 5 years, I would say, to the point where, what was it? How to Get Away with Murder? What season are we on? How to Get Away with Murder? You watch that?
Yeah, I want to say we're on 3 or 4, one of those.
Right?
Yeah.
The first season, I had a girlfriend, and I want to watch this, and I wasn't really the Scandal guy because I felt Scandal was old for women, and I just didn't like how dudes was huck, and it's just, come on, man, go watch some football. Let the girls have Scandal. But How to Get Away with Murder, I was like, hey, murder's in it. Let's be cool.
Yeah.
Right? I could watch some shit about murder. Fuck it.
It's a wild ass show.
And towards the second or third episode, there was a dude sucking a dude's dick. And just right there, he just went down on them. They went in the room and they just all over each other. He's sucking each other's dicks. And I'm just looking like, what does this have to do with murder? This is bugged out. Like, why did they keep sucking each other's dicks? Like, I had to turn the shit off. I was like, I can't watch this. And she's like, no, it's cool. And every time, every time the shit came on, I would turn my head and I'd be like, yo, are they still sucking each other's dicks? Like, is this still happening? And it was like consistent. First it was that show. Then it was the next show. Then it was the next show. And I would be like, yo, why is every man sucking somebody's dick now on television? Why can't y'all just be gay? This is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Why can't they just be gay? Me personally, I don't like kissing scenes in movies between men and women. When I watch it, I turn, are they kissing? All right. Are they finished kissing?
It's usually whack, and it's usually white people, and they don't have lips, and it's really disgusting.
Oh, we could discuss that too, because I wanted to ask you something about that too. You said something about that too. But so there was a point where I noticed a shift. There was a defined shift where homosexuality, which was when I was growing up, I'm 42 years old, right? I grew up in rap culture, hip hop culture, Brooklyn. It wasn't cool. It was something that we used to make fun of people. We would not, yo, he's a faggot. He's gay. Yo, you a fucking girl, dude. Like, that's who we were, right? And we would say things that were gay, like, oh, fuck him in the ass. Yo, throw him over the bridge, right? That was in the rap songs.
Yeah.
It was something that we knew was a bad thing. That's what it was. When I grew up, it was a bad thing. You don't want to be suck my dick was one of the biggest things that you could say to somebody to make sure I want to fight you, suck my dick. So now you know you got to fight me.
Yeah.
Because I just told you.
Yeah.
You feel me? I'm going to violate you.
Worst thing ever.
Right? Exactly. Right? That's how I grew up. It's ingrained in my culture for years and years and years through the people that I had the most respect for. We talking Biggie or Jay-Z or whoever. I don't know if Jay ever said it, but I ain't gonna say that about Jay right now because he be shutting shit down. Nigga come shut my podcast down. But Big Daddy, he can't do nothing. But you know what I'm saying? It was always ingrained in society that this was a bad thing. And then all of a sudden, boom.
Cock on TV.
We're here. That's what you said, right? I'm here.
Yeah.
And it was cool. And they're saying we don't give a fuck whether you don't like it. We're here.
Yeah.
Right? I initially backlashed. What's the word for active backlash? I kicked it back. I don't want to see this. I don't like it. Why they got to be on television?
Oh, these faggots are on TV.
Nope. I didn't do the faggot thing because,
well,
I used to work in television.
Yeah.
I was around a lot of gay people. And I just feel like
you worked in reality TV.
I was working in reality TV.
Of
I was working in the Housewives of Atlanta. In Atlanta, can you imagine? Gay. Everybody's gay.
Even Big Back Nene, yeah.
Everybody's gay. Yeah. Even there were people on the show who had girlfriends behind. There were women on the show who had girlfriends behind the scene. Everybody's gay.
Yeah.
Right? Now, we weren't able to say it. I'm still not going to say it because I just don't want no trouble with nobody. But it was an actual fact. We knew this chick is out here fucking girls. They was in the crib while we was taping about her dealing with some dude, but her girlfriend is over there. Right? So I was, I want to say that I was, I understood that they're regular people. Gay people are regular people. I have friends and producers and all that were gay, and they want to go to gay clubs after the shoot, and they be asking me, "Yo, come on, we gonna go?" And I'm like, "Nah, I ain't going with y'all, because all y'all do is talk about dick all day, and it's not comfortable for me as a heterosexual man. I'm gonna go over here, y'all go over there." So I never was really like faggot this, faggot that. I may have said it in my time, I may have, but I think I grew to a point where I said, "Yo, it's cool." My thing is, I felt like I should be allowed to not like it. I should be allowed to say, yo, this is not my thing. I should be allowed to have my views on it and not feel like, not be put under attack for having my views on it, not liking, seeing men suck each other's dicks.
Okay.
Seeing the flamboyancy. For some reason, the flamboyancy of the ones that, I did a heel run. Nene did a heel run.
Yeah.
Right? Where she in Atlanta, the men wear heels.
Yeah.
And Nene had a heel run where they had to race in heels.
Yeah.
They went 3, 2, 1. It was men and women on the line to race for this thing, right?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Pew! Bat out of hell, this dude. 6 foot, 300 something pounds, 6'3", 300 something pounds. Bust his ass out the motherfucker. Pew! Flying down the block in heels. The woman ain't stand a chance. They didn't stand a chance. He click, clack, clack, clack down the block. He won the whole shit.
Yeah.
The flamboyancy, I was...
What were your feelings?
Uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable.
Okay.
I was more uncomfortable because they used to talk about my body. At that time, I was a lot bigger. I just got out of prison maybe 2 years before. So I was a lot stocky. I was a big, muscular dude. I was always carrying all this stuff around. They're like, yeah, pick this up. Yeah, They would... walk by. When I walked by, they would all say things about my butt. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They would talk shit. They would talk.
That's inappropriate.
It was literally something that I had to hold back because they paying me. I'm getting paid a good piece of money. I didn't have a contract. They could have fired me anytime they want to.
So it sounds like to me you're telling me that you were sexually harassed.
I was, pretty much so. I mean, pretty much so, yeah. They always had something to say about my body, how I looked, how good I looked, my ass. You know what I'm saying? They never mentioned my dick print.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that. They never mentioned my dick print, but it was always a flirty type of situation that I had to work in, right? Once I was off the show, I said some things. And the producers who I was cool with, I was on Twitter or whatever, they blocked me. Never talked to me again. Never hired me for a show again. It is what it is.
And what were the things that you said?
Oh, I don't know. It was definitely homophobic.
If you can remember,
I can't. And it's maybe we can Google it. Maybe we could take a break and Google and Twitter search me and homosexual or me and faggot, but probably faggot talking about a bunch of
Probably.
straight dudes that I was calling a faggot, because I call more straight dudes a faggot than I call homosexuals. Seriously, I do.
No, it's fine. Louis C.K. has a whole bit on it about, damn, and he's awful too. But Louis C.K. has a whole bit about the word faggot. It's very funny, but you should watch it because it's not like, it doesn't mean gay. It's just like, it's a faggot. But yeah.
Not to go, I know I went on a little rant right there. What I mean to say is, I feel like straight men are uncomfortable with how much gay shit just got put on the dinner table.
Okay.
You got to eat this right now. That's it. We don't care about how you feel. We don't care how uncomfortable you are. This is real. We're here. Deal with it. It's not the way they were they're used to living. It's just not. I mean, I don't know if, you might say, yo, well, y'all been keeping us in the closet, and your way of life has made it seem as if we don't exist or we are not normal.
Yeah.
Right? But it isn't normal to us. This is not what were known. This is new. Being gay isn't new, but the fact that it's so accepted everywhere is. Can you see how that might make people uncomfortable?
Sure. I can see that.
Yeah.
I'm good for a parable, right?
You're going to drop somebody's name any second.
No. The best way to answer this question or to respond is, did you ever see 12 Years a Slave?
Yes. Thank God I finally seen something that you said.
Did you ever see Amistad?
Yes.
Did you see Birth of a Nation?
Yes.
There's always this conversation about how, and I'm sure you've seen this conversation. Did you ever see Django?
Yes.
Okay. There's always a conversation about. You always look at me like,
no,
okay. This conversation about all these slave movies are happening. I'm sure you've heard that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel that way?
Yes, and no.
Okay. All right. So,
but yes, I understand where you're going.
Yeah. So this idea of like, there's last year in 2016, there was almost 450 television programs on television running. And a very small percentage of them had a gay anything, whether it's writer, star, storyline, whichever, right? I think it just happens to be amplified because of the internet. I don't think that I understand how it could be like, oh, it's in my face. Oh my God, dick sucking dick. Gay, all over the sub, whatever, right? I think in a large scheme of things, it's very small compared to what you see in the media, right? The attitudes have changed. People are a little bit more relaxed. People are realizing, as you are, gay people are just people too. I do see how it could be a little alarming or a little like shocking to see certain things that you're not used to. But I also think that's a little hint of xenophobia, right? Fear of what you don't know. Mm. We see that all the time with Islamophobia, right? Like, all these people, like people who are, like you go to the airport, somebody's in a hijab or something, you're just like, oh shit, I don't,
Well, if it's a woman, I'm looking.
Yeah,
they sexy as shit. But
yes, but again, the whole thing, this idea of I'm at an airport, I'm in an airplane, somebody has a hijab, there's some sort of reaction.
There's an alarm. Hold on,
right?
What's going on?
Right,
cool one or
right? Again, xenophobia, a fear of the unknown. I think a lot of times people have this misconceived notion that whereas representation matters or people learn a lot of things from TV. Like if my kids watch this or if I'm subjected to this all the time, then somehow, some way, my kid or I'm going to start turning out to be this way, which is not necessarily the case, right?
Well, the thing is, They're putting it in Disney movies now. There's a gay Power Ranger. Like, at what point does being a Power Ranger have to deal with being his sexuality? Like, why was that necessary? See, that's the thing is, like, you may say that there's 450.
But then my question to you is, if you're going to refute that, then why does any Power Ranger have to have any sexuality?
They don't.
So are you going to tell me that
they just kicking ass and dinosaurs and shit? Like, what the fuck they need to be kissing this shit for? That ain't, y'all just wasting time. These motherfuckers over here trying to end the world.
Okay, but maybe outside of Power Rangers, let's say, for example.
What about Disney?
Sure, why not?
There's a Disney cartoon now that they say, hey, they're gonna have a new, they're gonna have a gay character. I don't know which one.
But what if they have gay parents? Kids have gay parents nowadays.
On Sesame Street, Bert and Ernie were gay, right?
No.
Bert and Ernie were gay. They sleep in the same bed. They playing with rubber duckies. These dudes was doing shit when the lights went off. And everybody knows it now. Like, all right, look, when I'm growing up, I'm looking like, yo, what the fuck is they living with each other for?
That is a social myth. You can assume that they were. However, it wasn't addressed.
But that's the thing. That's my point. If we say, all right, they're gay, they may be gay, they may not.
What's wrong with it? You have failed to tell me what's wrong.
We're not saying there's nothing wrong. We're saying.
But you're saying. But you have said to me that, hey, I want to. Why am I being attacked for saying that I don't like this shit?
Mm-hmm.
Why? What is wrong? Ultimately, what I'm trying to say is that it sounds to me that you're saying, okay, we accept you or we tolerate this shit. Why do we have to go any further? That is what I'm hearing from you.
That is exactly what homophobia is, right?
And I'm telling you right now that tolerance isn't enough.
Well, wait, this is my point. What my point is, at what point do you not realize, because in my mind, these are my thoughts from before, because I could add something that coming from your point of view right now, I would. Mm-hmm. But what I want to do is represent the people who don't understand, right? Yeah. And so we're talking about kids ingesting the information and saying, hey, it doesn't matter, right? Well, hey, but the point is, when we say that there may be an agenda to introduce this, we're putting it on the screen. We're putting it in the top shows, Empire, movies, everywhere is gay, gay, gay. Yes, there's gonna be gay now. Yes, right? All right, that's fine. But why does it need to be in cartoons? Why does it need to be in Power Rangers? Like, at what point do you say, all right, enough? Like, we're making people uncomfortable with just that much. Why do you have to go all the way across the board? That's kind of what a lot of when you get the pushback. We're saying, all right, is this just what normal is?
I like you gay, but I don't like you that part of your gay. This is my talking about tolerance, right? Like, I like you for being over there in your corner. You cool or whatever. I've gotten over this idea of like, I hate sissies or whatever. But when you start impacting me and making me or coming into my life and how I identify, that's what makes people uncomfortable. Right.
Because what they think, what my mindset before is my way is normal.
Yeah.
My way is the normal, and what you're doing can affect my normalcy.
But here's the thing, though. I feel like heterosexuality is changing, right? Since when did you ever heard of hearing a nigga get fucked in the ass by like a peg until the other day, right?
Well, yeah, she's the only person I know that's doing shit like that.
Oh, no, it happens. I know a lot of women who do that. But you know what I mean? Like, their attitudes about sex are changing. Well, I think we're evolving as a people, right? We don't even look the same way. We don't eat the same things. Like, rappers are drinking green juice now. What the fuck? Like, since when? But attitudes are changing.
And that's because of the internet. And it's because of society. People let society regulate their norms. So if you have your own beliefs and you're not letting what you see out there change what you believe about yourself, then that's not going to change the way you have sex. You're not all of a sudden just going to come up with in your mind, hey, let me fuck my man in the ass. No, like that's the way y'all do things is the way y'all do things.
Again,
but because you're ingesting all of this information from this internet, which has made the world such a smaller place, right? I can reach Hong Kong right now, right? Just like that.
Okay, so you're saying to me that because of the internet and because of media in general, people can ingest a bunch of information and make certain decisions about their lives and how they choose to identify and who they sleep with based on that?
I think that they allow what's going on in the world to affect, and this is positive. It can be negative. It can be positive. This isn't. There's no way to look at it one way. How they feel about themselves and decisions that they made. I think that people make decisions based on what they take in from, and this is what we do normally, whether it's light, energy, whatever. You take it in and you decide whether that's good for you and how you feel about it. And so that is how it is with information.
Sure.
Once you're putting all of this out there, people will become more welcome to it. They say, hey, you know what? I like that. I agree with that. Well, you're saying that we're changing. And I don't think that it's something that we're doing ourselves. Society is doing that. And when we say, remember when I used the word agenda.
What does agenda mean?
To push a certain mind state. To say, all right, this is what we want society to do. This is where we want society to go. And so what we're going to do is lay down certain things. We're going to push here. We're going to push here. We're going to place this here. Even if you drive in the streets, there's things that are placed there for you to ingest, whether it's a billboard or something on a bus. Hey, look at me. Watch this. This is it. And so it's the same thing that on the internet, on television, and songs. We want to make it cool. So this is what we're going to do to make it cool. And it's working. Now, hold on. I don't want, let me hold on one second, right?
I'm listening.
I used to really be uncomfortable until I started seeing hate, and I hate. And I realized, why should they not feel comfortable being themselves? Who am I to tell somebody else how to be, how to live, what's cool, how much they should show? Who am I to say that about anybody? Yeah. Now I had to realize your insecurities are your own. That you don't have I don't have the right to place that on somebody else. My insecurities, okay? That is my now belief. I want you to understand that what I'm talking about comes from what we say is homophobia on a whole, right? Yeah. I don't think that who I am now, I don't think everybody has made that jump.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Do you think you had attitudes and feelings about homosexuality as a kid growing up? You were saying it was a bad thing, right? Because you were saying, you called somebody a faggot or a sissy or whatever when they were being whatever, right? That is your form of attack, your form of bullying, right? You've openly talked about you being locked up before. Did being locked up have any impact on your attitudes towards homosexuality?
In what way?
You not being or having access to women.
No. It's funny
because and the reason why I asked this is because masculine.
I had a lot of Buttman magazines, bro.
That's great for you, but I also think that all gender, how we all identify gender is performance. And I say this, how a person identifies as a woman, they perform as a woman. They do things, they get up, they stereotypically do their hair, do their makeup, and then go grab their bag and go out the door like a Jill Scott song. You get up, you shower, shave, and whip it like a slave kind of thing. Word to Wheezy. And those kinds of things. And so when you're in a situation in a confined space that stereotypically has these means of, how do you say this, where men can be, there's this concept of like is almost like being temporary gay. I forget the actual words,
Mm-hmm.
but you learn in abnormal
I've
psych where
experienced,
where
yes.
like people in prison, you know, you do what you do with your man, but you're not really that gay. But
Mhm.
when you get off, you're all the woman, you have a family, whatever. I'm just wanting to know if that had any kind of change or attitude, like if you saw it and you were just like fuck you back, like, you know what I mean? Like did that change? Did that even sharpen your? Because I can recognize that you were homophobic at one point. Now you're not, or not.
All of this happened after prison, but
Okay.
I think that being in prison made me more homophobic, if anything.
Okay.
The reason why is there was a guy who was, when he had 2-3 years, he had a girlfriend, whole boyfriend, when I mean girlfriend, I mean in jail. He's dressed up. He had the lipstick. He did his hair a certain way.
Performing
they
a gender.
sat on each other's laps in front of everybody. Did them. They was girlfriend and boyfriend, right? By the time we were about to get out, he had transitioned back to men. Wasn't dealing with the dude no more. Wasn't wearing lipstick anymore. He would go on his visit with his girlfriend that he was going to be paroled to. That was nasty to me.
Yeah.
That was, I don't want to say offensive, but it was like the wackest shit ever. Like, dude, you was just gay. You was just gay and you gonna go back to shorty. She don't know what you in here doing. Like, and you're doing shit in behind closed doors. And that shit is like, it turned me off to it. Like, it literally made me feel like, yo, like.
Give it words. What did it make you feel? You have a disgusted look on your face, so I'm trying to.
I was.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, when he was gay, I ain't really pay him no mind. You doing you over there. It is what it is. I'm over here trying to sell these little sticks of weed my shorty bought me. Like, I ain't think about you. You know what I'm saying? But to see him change back to normal and then be just like one of us. He was regular now. Just like one of us. No, he's out here playing ball and shit. I ain't never want him on my team. I ain't gonna lie.
Right.
I never wanted him on my team because he used to shoot when he used to poke his butt out when he shoot. No, seriously, he used to shoot jump shots in a funny way, and it just made me really uncomfortable to watch him shoot a jump shot. So never really wanted to play basketball with him. But it was just it really was disgusting me to see how he was able to live this duplicitous life. You understand what I'm saying? And then when I came out, I wound up going to work. I got this job in television. Maybe in my mind, it did make me more homophobic. And then with the comments and all of that stuff, maybe there was a buildup, right? Because before that, I had a friend that was gay. Grew up with him. I didn't really recognize that he was gay. I knew he was gay. Didn't bother me. It's like, yo, you doing, you go ahead. Go do whatever you're doing. Right. He said, make his comments. I ain't care. Just go ahead, live your life. It didn't bother me. Right. I didn't recognize it at all. You doing you, he's gay, and I'm over here fucking women. It is what it is. And at a certain point after that, I believe that I was disgusted with it once I got out of prison.
And this is my point. I think a lot of times people are homophobic based on one instance that happened to them. And it informs a inaccurate opinion about the world that we live in. A lot of times people say opinions don't matter, or it's just my opinion when it regards to homophobia, right? Or homophobic comments. And I always say, well, slavery was based on an opinion. This idea of like, I am more powerful than you, or I am more superior than you people in Africa. Mm-hmm. So therefore I'm going to enslave you because I think with my uninformed opinion that you should be my slave. I think people have attitudes about gay because they're all uninformed and or mostly uninformed. And when you get a whole bunch of uninformed people together, you have a societal shift that is bad for everybody. Laws are made, like the whole trans bathroom situation in North Carolina.
What was that?
They hated all gender bathrooms. They didn't want trans women to use the women's bathroom. Even same-sex marriage, it took a while for, even Obama's attitudes change, because he was not necessarily pro-gay.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. But I think all of that happened very quickly.
It did. I think America moved forward very quickly in 8 years.
It happened that quickly.
In some aspects, not others, because we definitely deported way more people than ever. But
I don't even mean to laugh. We did good, but chill. Don't be clapping your hands.
Yeah. But we did progress very quickly, and I think it was helpful that there are powers in office that we could identify with, and so therefore it was like, I guess if this nigga with it, then I guess that's okay. Because I also feel like people tend to listen to people that look like them or have some sort of like symbol towards. I think a lot of like black men loved Obama because of the fact that, this is a black man in office. He has waves in the shape up. I have waves in the shape up. I too can be president. And he has got a black woman on his side and got kids.
They look like they could go to school with my daughter.
Exactly. Right? So people have this investment in him, and so therefore they're going to have like, well, okay, I guess if this nigga said it, okay too. But then there's on the flip side, there's like people like Umar Johnson, who a lot of niggas that look like him too. And so because they feel like, gay is wrong or whatever, then they're going to fall and say, like, it's a tool of the white man. So I say all that. This is why I'm asking, like, sometimes how your micro opinion can inform a whole macro movement. This idea of you having this one small experience, and not to saying that your experience was small with the guy in prison.
Understood.
But in this 7 billion people in the universe, in the world, right? Like your small interaction or what you saw can build a whole bunch of other these experiences to have this whole opinion about gays and who they are.
You mentioned instances. Do you think that the base of homophobia actually comes from instances in every single person that's homophobic?
No, it's church.
Yo, I was in church 2 weeks ago. Yo,
yeah,
I thought that it was a myth.
And I'm only speaking about black people. I don't really know or care what white people do.
Yo, the preacher, he started off talking about porn. Then he went to abortions. Yeah. Then he brought up homosexuality. Yeah. And like I'm lying. He brought up abortions first. The women started shifting in their seats.
Yeah, convicted.
Right? Then he brought up homosexuality. And everybody's kind of quiet, but we all know we've moved forward. Like, and he's some older dude, right? Older preacher. He's going in just about this and how you're not going to make it to heaven. And, this is not what's allowed. And we're allowing society to say it's allowed, right? So everybody's kind of shifting in their seats a little bit. When he got to the homosexuality, it was obviously that he's offended 60% of the parish, right?
Yeah.
And then when he said porn,
everybody was like, ooh.
I got him. You're not going Come on now.
Porn is great.
You're not going to be talking about porn, man. Yeah. And you want me to give you money. Shit. Yeah. Church. You think that church has a lot to do with it. Now, I could definitely understand why that might be in white America.
Remember how I said earlier about in Reich's book about sexual politics and how he said there's like this authoritative like being that injects all this horrible way in which we should live. Black church does that for us. If you ever realize that black people operate off of what the black church says as an entity, like the black church, not saying you're a specific church, but what we do in black church, governs our whole moral code and system. It governs how we eat. What do you do on Sunday? You have a big Sunday dinner, right?
Not me.
Not now, but in this
I'm lonely in this spot. I just go to Mama's Kitchen down the block. And
But
go
again,
buy
there's
some
this whole
turkey
idea.
wings.
Like, there's a whole movie about it. Soul food. You go to church.
Right.
There's a whole family dinner. You
Right.
commune and all that good stuff. How we sing, right? How we even give and how we perform charity is all governed of what we learned at church, whether we went to it or not regularly. At some point in some way, 90s and prior, because young people don't go to church now, but before that, somebody had a grandmother that forced you to go
Absolutely.
at some point.
Absolutely.
And if you notice how black people just operate in general, it's very churchy.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't play with demons. Nah, I don't go to no damn haunted house. Nah. And how a lot of our attitudes towards sex, gay or straight, come from church. And that is why I say sometimes people are moving away from church.
Mm-hmm.
You can even hear it in music, but people are moving away in church. And I think that there has been such a movement of moving away from churches that we have a lot of these people like Nola Darling, right? Or people who act like her, or Mandy, or Weezy on Horrible Decisions. Like, they have moved away from this moral code that may or may not be damaging. They are moving away from the authoritative principles that has governed us. So therefore, they can suck a dick like or two or three without this judgment from church.
Mm-hmm. Well, what their moms is doing.
But the point is, I think that
neither.
a lot of times, and I always say it's so funny that we allow the church to rule us when niggas don't go.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The younger generation now doesn't go.
But the younger generation is also doing exactly what you did, learning how to be a man from the street, or in this case, the internet.
Yeah, totally agree.
The younger generation is not unlike you or me. They're just getting information from different places. It just happens to be a little bit more progressive now because of the internet.
Do you think that people, homosexual people, gay people, are hypersensitive to homophobic remarks about the gay culture that may not fit what they want the message to be? I feel like when I say anything about homosexuality, I get ran down on. Like, if I don't understand it, or if it's something that it relates to, if I say gay and it ain't like I love gay, they coming.
Sure.
Do you believe that you guys may be hypersensitive towards it, and why? And then where do we go from there? Like, why can't we talk? You and I can have this conversation right now, but you had to be open to it, and you walked in here saying, yo, say whatever the fuck you want, I'm good. Why can't we do that on a regular basis?
Not everybody has done their work. I am not going to sit here and say that at one point, like, I've never been not impacted by harsh words or have been sensitive towards certain things. But I've done this work in this idea of I've learned that I've learned that people don't really know how to ask questions, but or they ask them in a really obscure way. Mm-hmm. 2, I've learned that I can't take everything personally. 3, I've also learned that a lot of people, when they have conversations surrounding feminism, regarding toxic masculinity, regarding sexual harassment, sexual assault, rape, a lot of people's conversations are ridden with their own deep, untreated issues. Mm-hmm. So when you say things about gay people, it's a trigger. Like, people feel like they're under attack. I don't always feel that way because I feel like, okay, well, maybe let me understand where this person is coming from for the most part, which is why I will always ask, well, what does this mean? And it's not like I just need clarification, because I also think that people don't necessarily know what they're asking. or they're not asking the right question. So I'll ask a follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to understand, people will come on your back because of the fact that they have unresolved issues within themselves that they may not be comfortable with, and they may not resolve them ever. So to have a productive conversation, I don't think we will get to that point in my lifetime. I just think there are going to be people you're going to pick and choose and go along with, because I'm sure there's people who are going to listen to this and they'll be like, I don't like the way XD presented this, and not all of us are like this, we're not on a monolith, and yada yada yada. And I can't speak for all gay people. What I can provide is a grand sociological context of what gay is, and because there's things that we won't ever talk about. Well, I don't know, because I can't talk about trans people. I can't even talk about how people identify as queer or non-binary. I'm still learning that myself. All I can tell you is have a open and honest understanding. And if you have questions, you can ask. A lot of people will tell you, it's not my job to tell you.
Yo, that shit doesn't.
That shit is the most annoying thing ever. Google it. I hate when people say that, because you can go down the oddest wormhole on the internet and finding all the most fucked up
you will find my DNA all down that wormhole. Right. These motherfuckers will go so hard.
They will say, you are impacting my agency with your cis heteropatriarchy societal. And you're like, bitch, what the fuck?
I don't even know what the fuck you just said. Like, how did I do that?
Like you just casted a spell on me. But people will dump all of their issues on you when you just have a simple question. So, I will say there are ways to learn certain things. And, it helps if you have a friend or two that can teach you. Mm-hmm. I'm always one of those people that I've always made it a point in my digital career to have an open door policy. People come to me all the time, DM me like, yo, I don't want to be offensive, but what the fuck is this bitch doing? You know what I mean? Like, and I'll explain to them why it's offensive or why it's not. I'll say why it's offensive, because personally, I'm not that PC, but I'll explain why it's an issue. And I think more people need to be open in doing that. But again, it has a huge deal, or has a lot to do with people not having unresolved issues. Like in The Color Purple, right? Sophia was like, all my life I had to fight. Mm-hmm. All gay people have had to fight their whole entire lives. Mm-hmm. Gay people are in survival mode. I'm just one of those people that just not.
When we're talking about heterosexuality and their fear, right? We're talking about homophobia. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about instances that people may have had that have made them feel a way. Are you the type of guy, do you come on to other men? How do you bag dudes? No, I want to know, have you ever tried to talk to a dude that was heterosexual and you didn't know? Do you have gaydar? Do you have special words? How do you know that this dude might want some dick? How do you know? Because my point is this, right?
Yeah.
I had a friend when I was younger. I had another friend, right? And we're still friends to the day. I'm going to tell you a story real quick.
Okay. This is interesting.
He was a stylist. Oh. I didn't know. I was a drug dealer. I didn't know. I knew he was a little different, but I didn't know. Okay. Right? He keeps telling me, yo, I'm going to take you to Bloomingdale's. They got the room in the back, and they set up where they no, it was a Neiman's or Saks. One of them shits where he took, and he dressed me up in the shit. He's like, you could be a model.
Bloomingdale's. That's the gayest store on the planet, but okay.
Yeah, you could be a model.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, I could be a model. I ain't got to be out here selling drugs. Let me be a fucking model. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I'm kind of cute. Fuck, I could be a model. If he thinks I could be a model, he's a stylist. I'm going to go be a fucking model. Mm-hmm. Right? And so we wasn't really doing nothing but going over to what the fuck? Was I abused? Well, anyway. So we go to this shit, right? And one day we're coming back on the train. We've been friends for a long time. You know, I knew his family. I knew he had a daughter. I knew everything about dude. I knew where he lived, everything, right? And he turns to me one day. We're on the train and we're talking. He says, "Yo, Tahoe, I'm in love with you."
Skr, skr.
Skr, skr.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh? I'm like, what? Because I'm in love with you at first didn't even register like you were in love with me. I was just like, what? And he's like, no, like I always wanted to tell you I'm in love with you. And I looked at him. I'm like, what the fuck is you talking about? Like, you my homeboy. Like, what is you talking about? Like, yo, don't even go there. Because at that moment, yeah, I know you gay. I been knew you was gay. I didn't think about it. We was cool. We was just cool. Don't cross that line with me right now, my nigga. Like, what is you doing?
Yeah.
You supposed to know that I'm not gay and you playing with me. You said I was going to be a model. Now you talking about being gay with me and this shit is weird, right? And he looked at me when I said the shit and he's like, yo, that's fucked up. Like, you coming at me like that. I'm trying to express my feelings to you. And he got up and he got off the next stop. He kept it moving. That's it. I ain't see him again for maybe 3-4 years. Right?
Wow.
This happened. This is real shit. Right?
I think it's also tacky he told you on the train, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, you know, I was going back to the strip to hustle.
Yeah,
he wasn't going to tell me straight right there on the street.
Yeah,
I might felt like fighting. Right? So he had me in a solitude. You know, that was a good place. If he told me in the back room in Bloomingdale's, we might have fought there too.
Yeah.
The train was safe.
Yeah.
Right? Now, maybe I don't think that really affected me. As much because I used to work in the village. I've had dudes try to talk to me before. That shit really never really bothered me that much. It's always like, word, you serious, dude? I'm not gay. But for this situation, I want to go to something that you said.
Hold on a minute. Put a pin in that. Mm-hmm. So, actually, no, I'll go ahead. I'll remember.
What, you think it's because I worked in the village?
No, it's not my point. I mean,
I just want to know if you think that any of the heterosexual fear, homophobia, comes from an instance where they've been, God damn, I hate that I don't have as many words as you, where they've been put in a situation that was uncomfortable for them.
It could be. Not always, but sure. Like, sometimes people are weirded out by that, like, oh, a dude hit on me, like, oh, I don't want to give off a gay vibe, like, even though, like, nigga, what the fuck is a gay vibe? But, you know, like,
I feel like I can get it. I know a gay vibe when I see it.
Okay.
Well, there are some dudes that overcompensate and you would never know.
You would never know. Like, I don't know. Like, there's whatever. But I will say there's no like one thing that would make one type of instance would make somebody have this adverse reaction to homosexuality, right? Like, okay, sometimes because your reaction could have been like, it could have just been one isolated incident in this case, and you'd be like, all right, you know, it's still gay people, you know, it's whatever. I don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. I think homophobia is a syndrome, like a system of ideas or a system of things that happen to get you to this place. So it can't be just one particular thing. You told me today that you were struggling to find out what manness is, and you found it in the street because you got picked on for being a sissy. You started hustling. That's a whole nother thing about masculinity and performance, because masculinity, in my idea, is this idea of competition. It's a pissing contest. So how you can get the most money, the most girls, the fastest cars, or whatever. That's what masculinity is in general. If you strip it to the bare bones and you fuck bitches, like whatever. 3, you told me about the prison boo thing, right? And then now this guy who said he was in love with you, these things are adding up to this developing the syndrome of homophobia that you are in recovery of. I feel like there's not a lot. And then, of course, you know, black church or attitudes of, you know, like black women telling you, because I'm going to assume that black women telling you, like, you know, you need to be more of a man or that kind of thing because of what they learned in church, because only women tend to go to church.
Do you think? All right. So this syndrome, are there men? Like sometimes when I look at a dude,
Oh wait, to answer your question, yeah, people hit on straight men. I hit on.
yeah. Have you ever had an uncomfortable experience with hitting on a straight man?
Ooh man.
Did you fuck his life up?
Yo, I'm about to tell you the most wildest story. The most. Woo.
You're like 6 something too. You're like 6'2".
No, it's real fucked up.
Are you 6'3"?
Yeah.
So was he shorter than you? Was he bigger than you?
No, you never going to believe what happened.
Yeah, let's do it.
No, because it's insanely fucked up. So in college, I met this guy. I don't want to say his name because you can Google it. Mm-hmm. Roger. Let's go with Roger, right? So Roger, I was a year ahead of him. So Roger came in, and I worked in financial aid, and let's see if I tell this story, people will know what I'm talking about. Okay, because I know people who I went to college with listen to your show. So anywho, Roger came in, and I was like, he gave me a little twinkle in his eye. I was like, oh, okay, hey, whatever. But whatever, he fucked bad bitches, and he was in a white girl, so a part of me thought I had a chance, but whatever. So
no, he's trisexual.
Yeah.
He was sex positive.
Yeah. Oof. So anyway, he was rather homophobic. He would be like, he would just be with girls or whatever. And then I remember he had said something slick to me, and I'd be like, he called me some queer, something along the lines. I was like, all right, sissy. Mm-hmm. So whatever. Went along my day. A year so passes, and we both become RAs together, and we develop, and we're like BFFs for whatever reason. Like for whatever reason, we bond, and even the next year, we're like legit ass homies. So I'm like, I'm thinking I'm getting a vibe, and he would be like, we would legit go on dates, like for real. Like we would go to Hooters, and like it legit felt like a relationship. I knew it wasn't, but it felt like it. So one day, I was like, Roger, I kind of into you. I know you're not, but I just need to let you know. He was just like, no, like you're my friend, but like no, I got a girlfriend. Like he got pissed or whatever, and then like we didn't talk for a minute, and then we became cool. So I leave and I go to grad school and all that stuff, and then I move to New York.
This is Moonlight. Good.
Oh, it's Moonlight with a twist. So I go upstate to school, and I move back to the city, and he calls me. He was just like, "Yo, what up? Let's go out." I'll never forget. It was Halloween. And I was like, all right, cool. He was like, okay, I'm about to come scoop you and we'll go. So my roommate at the time was like, all right, let's do this. Because Roger lived in New Jersey. So came, scooped me, trying to figure out what to do. Like, oh my God, hey, long time no see, yada, yada, yada. Was like, well, what is there to do? And so my roommate was like, we could go to Secret, which was a gay club at the time. Mm-hmm. So Roger, I was like, I don't know. Roger might not be into that kind of thing. He was like, no, I've been to Secret before. Skirt.
He was like,
you know what?
What?
Yeah. He was like, yeah, I've been. I'm like, who took you? And I said this other person's name who I knew went to our school, who was a big flaming sissy. And I was just like, he took you? He was like, nah, my other friends. What other friends you got? And he was like, so I have something to tell you. Fuck you mean? So he tells me that, he's like, no, I'm not gay, but,
I fuck dudes from time to time, but I'm not gay.
Yeah, I was like, all right, fuck me up.
He said he fucked dudes from time to time, but he's not gay.
Yeah, I was like, all right, cool. This is when I started to realize that sexuality was on a spectrum. And then
we need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. Yeah.
I want to tell you what happened because, well, yeah.
Please, no, finish. No, you have to finish the story. You cannot
okay,
let
well,
it fade.
It turns out, so he moved away, and then he got caught messing with little boys, and now he's in jail. Yeah. Yeah. Told you.
So he was on like the negative part of the
Yeah,
spectrum.
I don't know what the fuck that was, but yeah, he got locked up for hosting a day camp at his apartment, a sleepaway camp for boys during the summer. Which why would you do that in your fucking apartment? Anyway, but yeah, so now he's locked up.
Holy
Told you,
shit.
fucked your head up. But the whole moral of the story is that sometimes sexuality is on the spectrum, and you know there's tons of gays tend to have this be obsessed with the storyline in all gay like forms, like and being in love with a straight man, and then or a straight acting man, and they love it. Sometimes I don't. It's whatever, but.
What is this about? This is a phenomenon that I've heard of before. Men that, will they say I'm not gay? You know, there's a point I want to make before I say this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that hyper masculinity, people who are super masculine, super raunchy all the time, are hiding
No.
something? Is there any connection?
Oh, hiding. I don't know if they hide in being gay. They might be hiding something. I think people overcompensate for things. Like they could be super masculine and have a little dick. You never know. It doesn't mean like they gay or anything. It could be. It could be like in your situation, they were always called, you know, less than, or because they weren't really into sports or whatever, so they're overcompensating for something.
Right.
There are some men who like this down low thing, right? Where
Right,
I'm not like this is why the government calls they use the term MSM and men who have sex with men, because in the 70s, 80s, men were just like, nah, I'm gay. Nigga, what the fuck? Like, gay is a relatively new thing. Homosexuality is not. Gay is new in the last 50 years or so. This idea of what gay or what you present as, like gay culture, gay? Like right. Pride and living together and loving one another and having relationships. Mm-hmm. People have been fucking the same sex or same gender forever. Women, men, animals, same thing. I do think that people choose to identify however they choose to. You can have, there's this whole idea of like, you know, I'm straight, but, you know, I might just get head from a dude. Or, you know, I may make out with one, but I'm not gay.
Do you think that's gay? Come on. No holds barred. I'm doing it. I'm out here. I done talked to you. I done said dick 1,000 times.
No,
Tell me, do you think it's gay or not? And why? Please. I need to know.
I do not think it's gay. I think it's a gay experience. Like, nigga, that's gay. That's too, like, if your dick's touch, it's gay. I don't care. It's only gay if the balls touch. But I mean, like I watch straight porn. Straight porn's fun, and I always like. There's always like this orgy scene, like with like either the nigga's like sticking his dick in her mouth and he's fucking her, and like his ass is like in his face. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's gay, because gay shit is not happening. It's gay shit adjacent.
It's gay adjacent.
Yeah, it's gay adjacent. Because you're not going to tell me that you fucking this girl and this nigga's ass is wide open in your face. Mm-hmm. But I know he's not doing anything to it. But as far if a guy tells me like, and I've met men before, friends that I'm currently friends with, they're straight, but they identify as this new term as heteroflexible.
Ain't no flexible.
But again, you have to remember sexuality is on a spectrum. Remember I said earlier that it's on the Kinsey scale. So one is super feed me meat and, you know, whatever, and then gay is like, you know, fa la la la. Sometimes we just happen to be a hodgepodge of things in the middle. Same thing with women. Like, I'm strictly dickly, but
I just don't
I'll
think
have a
women
little
could
fish
be.
on the
I
side.
feel like women that do shit like that just aren't comfortable with their own sexuality. I feel like women can do all of that shit, and it's all.
Why do you
woman.
apply that ideas to women and not to men?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Because
I'm not gonna sit here and even try. Woman, I feel like if a man likes a dick at all, the thought of dick
disgusts you. It's
disgusts
fine.
me.
Yeah.
Right? No, seriously.
Well,
I don't get disgusted.
Earlier, you get disgusted of your own dick. It's fine. It's okay.
Right. I don't like the looking at of my own balls.
Yeah.
My own ball sack is like, I could never.
Yeah.
Just the thought of it is like,
Yeah.
right? If you have one, remember on Insecure? Was it Insecure? Where the dude had a gay relationship, gay sex. One instant.
he just. We don't even know what happened. Maybe he just got head or whatever. He had a gay sexual experience one time. Yeah.
That's gay. He can't come back from that.
Why
You're
not?
gay. You look. I don't care what you do. You could have
Okay,
fucked
so-
1,000
so
women in
what-
your life.
okay,
You
so
fuck
what
the
if-
dude, you gay.
Okay, so do you not think bisexuality exists? What if he's just bisexual?
Bisexual men are gay. There is
Are
no
you serious?
Yes, a woman. There's no such thing as a bisexual woman. She's just a woman. She just does whatever she feels to do.
Coochie Jackalia.
Damn. Fuck, I did it. I'm sorry. I damn near went 2 hours.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Okay,
Right.
so okay.
All right, how do we come back from this?
No. We can say it differently.
How?
So you're.
Who did
let
I
me,
offend?
let me see. Okay, let's slow this down.
Okay.
You are saying to me on this day, the year of our Lord, that you do not believe that bisexuality for a man or a woman exists.
No. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Where did you learn that?
I just, as a man,
Where did you learn that?
I was gonna say something. I shouldn't say it.
No, don't flip. Just answer that specific question. How did you learn that? Or where did you learn that?
My own sense of sexuality.
And where did you learn your own sense of sexuality?
When I look at nuts, I know that I don't want no nuts. I can't. There's no nuts.
But that is intrinsically you. You know what I mean? No one is calling you bisexual. You know what you like and you know what you want.
And I just know what I am as a man. And a
About
heterosexual man.
I, all these I messages. I am a hetero, cis hetero, you know?
Bro hetero.
Well, that's because you can't say bro hetero because you can.
That kind of makes it sound gay too.
Yeah. That too. But
Right,
as a
so
cis hetero man, like this is.
I don't know if you're gonna change that. As much you could give me the books, I'm gonna read you. You gave me 2 books and a TV show. You gave me Nip Tuck too.
Oh, you never watched Nip Tuck?
I don't watch Nip Tuck. It's gay.
No, it's not.
I'm just playing.
Oh, about to say like Nip Tuck is the straightest show ever. They were fucking a bitch in a bag.
Bag like a chicken?
No, like she put a bag over her head.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was like
right.
a Crown Royal bag. It was kind of ooh man.
Fried chicken.
Right. Yeah, okay. But what?
Yeah, man.
So-
if you liked the dick before, if you ever looked at a dick and was like, I want that. Like I just don't. Men on men don't like. That's okay. I don't want to do. What if we talk about science, right? What if we talk about science? You ever seen a male lion go fuck on another male lion?
Yeah.
All right, well then,
It's a thing.
that probably did happen before.
Yeah, it did. It
Because
happened.
I've seen dogs try to hump other
Yeah,
male dogs.
it happens. Horses, gay as Bloomingdale's. Like it's a thing.
What?
I told you it's the gayest store. It's Bloomingdale's. That's a gay word.
Okay.
So back this up.
yeah. Pause.
Where
I had to. I'm sorry. I had to. Go on, man. Oh no.
where did you learn, again, how to debunk homophobia is to, again, unlearn everything that you know. Forget everything you know and just know one key thing.
Then we need to. There's one thing.
And that's knowing what you like, and that's it.
We need to define gay.
No, we don't.
Because I don't know what gay is anymore. Then now I don't know. I don't know.
It doesn't matter. You don't need to know what gay is at all. You need to know where your ideas about gay came from so you can forget them. It's like, when you go to therapy, I don't know if you've ever been to therapy or done counseling or whatever.
No, just on the show.
That's fine. You get to the root of the problem to heal it or to get it clean it all. Or like when you get a cut and you put Bactine on or whatever, you get to and you clear it all out. Mm-hmm. Well, you have to know the source of the bacteria, right? Mm-hmm. Get all of that out, and then that's it. Once you get to the root of everything, you don't need to know everything else, and just seal it back, and it's all good. So my question to you is, where did you learn about sex? From the street?
Yes. Absolutely.
There we go.
No. No.
Yes.
My body reacts to certain things and doesn't react to other things. Are you telling me?
I'm not talking about how you physically feel with sex, how you arouse. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about learning about sex. Where did you develop, or how did you develop? Because again, you're not going, and you said this yourself, you're not just going to randomly think about these things and have this whole opinion about bisexuality all on your lonesome. It had to come from somewhere. So my question to you is, where did that come from? Because I guarantee you what you learned about bisexuality or how you came up with it is probably how a lot of people have their attitudes about sex in general, how they treat women, about sexuality, about rape. So you tell me, how and where did you learn about sex?
I just know from the street, from watching what other people thought was sexy, I believe. Because I remember not knowing chicks had fat asses. One day I just looked and was like, oh shit, there's a fat ass. I never looked. I'd say if I'm walking down the block with my mom's and she's holding my hand and dudes is turning their heads and looking at my mom, I didn't know he was looking. I just knew he was looking at her, but I didn't know why. I didn't get it. And then one day, I guess after being amongst friends or being I remember this chick that I liked in high school. I knew she had big titties.
Yeah.
But I didn't get nothing. I wouldn't even have known what to do with them shits, honestly.
When did you lose your virginity?
13, maybe 12. 12. The summer after 6th grade.
Was it something that you wanted to do or what you thought you had to do?
I was attacked. I had this girlfriend in 6th grade. And she was bigger. She was kind of big, but I didn't care. She liked me, and I liked being liked. So she was my girlfriend because she liked me, right? And she kind of chose me, like, you're my boyfriend, right? Come hold my hand, and I'm gonna walk you home, type shit.
Okay.
And the summer after 6th grade, she showed up to my crib with Raheem Devonish, and Raheem had another chick, and she fucked me. And I went down on her, and the box was kind of, it wasn't. I'm so glad that it didn't taste like that forever. Like, oh, shit ain't taste like that. But apparently she probably wasn't the cleanest person in the world. But
oh God,
we broke my bed. The bed broke down to the floor, and we got up, and she left, and I felt better.
Did you enjoy it? Or you didn't know what to enjoy?
I don't know what happened. It just happened. I was happy I had done it because now Raheem and my friends, they used to always laugh at me because I didn't even know where pussy was. I remember one day we was talking and he was like, they was like, yo, you don't even know where pussy at. Where's the pussy? And I pointed to where dick is. And everybody laughed because obviously I was wrong. I was like, it's right here. It's like, you stupid, it's under, like, because I had said that I had done it before and I was lying.
And this is what I'm talking about.
Right,
Your
whatever.
attitudes about sex is learned from an uninformed place.
Well, I've informed myself since, sir.
Okay, and that's fine. However, there is more learning to be done and some more unlearning to be done. Bisexuality does exist, whether you like to believe it or not.
Why can't you just be fluid on the spectrum?
That happens too.
That's what I think women are. I think women are just
But
fluid
why can't
individuals.
men be fluid? There is nothing. Take out man, woman, person.
You can't. They're two different individuals, completely made different everything.
If anything, men should be able to be more fluid than women because you all seem to love to control women. And you can't tell me that's a lie.
You're a man.
Oh, I'm absolutely correct.
So you said you all as if you're not a man. We. You have to encompass.
And this
because
and for all
gay
intents
men,
and purposes,
when they want to be men,
and all intents,
when they
sure,
want to be that type of man,
Sure.
they're that type of man too.
sure. However,
Sean Rankin.
Sorry. You all make laws that against me. I can't make laws against you.
Who? You all who?
I can't make laws against straight people
Why not?
because I'm not in power. I am a minority.
No, gay men are in power everywhere right now. Look at Hollywood. Look at Hollywood. Look at television. These are the people that make all the moves. As a matter of fact, right now, if y'all don't like something, it's not going down. Y'all will shut shit down everywhere if it's offensive to gay people. That's not true. Right now, if somebody dares say something offensive
That's not
towards
true. That's just white guilt.
Listen, you can throw as many shades on as you want.
No,
I know right now, gay people run
because
shit.
that is a hot button issue. However, if gay people ran things, then why didn't same-sex marriage become a thing until a few years ago?
Because
why didn't we get any kind of HIV meds or anything until recently?
Well, then that
or
makes
even kind of if gay people ran thing or people, then why are trans women getting murdered like every other day? Gay people by large do not run anything.
See, now we've gone through so much now. You said so much just now.
I say a lot, but my point to you is, above all, straight, cis, hetero, for all intents and purposes, straight men run things.
Straight white men run things.
Correct. However,
straight black men don't run shit.
All right, I'll give you that.
As a matter of fact, gay black men are higher on the totem pole than straight black men.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Dead ass serious.
Yes, I think so. I believe so. I believe y'all have more power, more clout. Y'all accepted more.
How? Please tell me how. And do not use TV, for example. And the reason why is because you have a nuanced idea.
Because it's cooler to be gay than it is to be black.
What?
It's cooler to be gay than it is to be black. At this point right now in society, it's cooler to be gay than it is to be black. And I don't even want to separate our issues because to me, oppression is oppression.
So make it plain to me, Tahoe. So walk me through how you got to this. Walk me through how you got to this, because this is a homophobic conversation
right now.
So
right?
Yes, it is. So walk me through how you got this.
I believe that there are more gay is accepted and as power in the powerful discussions in the powerful rooms before black is accepted in the power rooms. I think that gay is something that has amassed power quicker and faster and stronger than black has.
Give me the receipts. Show me how. Show me your work.
Sean Rankin is any Hollywood. Now that's all I can say I'm familiar with. But I can say if you look in any of those rooms, executive producers, people that run shit anywhere, you're gonna find gay before you find black. In multitude, you're gonna find gay before you find black. And that's the only reason that I can give you that is because I've been there. Now, politics is run by white men. Straight white men who fear everything. So we can't say that there because when in all actuality, they run every single thing out here. Right? They not cool? No, but they powerful. They run every motherfucking thing out this motherfucker. So me and you are still in the same, we're still lower on the totem pole than them. But I believe that if you look at mass power, you will find more gay mass power than black mass power.
What about black gay mass power?
Would probably lower on the totem pole than white gay mass power.
Okay. So in this conversation, then we'll talk about black gay. Because ultimately, white gays are still white.
Yeah. Well, there's a spectrum to that too.
So I will allow you in this space.
Well, you didn't say Coochie Jackalee, and I'm so.
Well, I didn't because I was trying to understand where you're going with. So again, I prefaced in the conversation way before is that I only can speak about black gay. White gay is a sickness.
No. Come on, we can't do that. We can't. Come on.
No. White gays are the worst people, but you know, whatever, and they know it. White gays are racist.
Okay.
They do blackface in a manner of which it's cute and disguise it as drag. They appropriate black femme culture, black women. They all say, a lot of them say, "Oh, I have my internal black woman." No, don't shut the fuck up. No, you don't. There's a lot of things wrong, and this is not saying individual. It's a collective thought of white gay. I remember I got into a huge argument on the internet when this guy said there's no color in homosexuality. I said, you are a white ass lie. Because you can base it off numbers, right? You can even look at HIV infection rates. Black gay men are the most new cases are from black gay men. Racism on dating apps, you know, no blacks. White gays are out of this world, but I will give you this idea of like in Hollywood, they may or may not run. And I have been in those type of meetings and stuff. And you're right. I will say that you are right, and that there are a lot, more homosexuals in the room. But they're still white. And this is not to say this is like an oppression Olympics thing. Mm-hmm. But again, I'm trying to, this idea of how we understand sex and what it means for black people. Mm-hmm. Because fighting up against white people, that's a whole nother entity. But as far as you just said yourself, that black gays are even lower on the totem pole.
Yes.
And that's my point.
Yes.
Okay. We're on the same page.
Okay. All right. We are over 2 hours. This is probably my longest show. And we have so much more.
Okay.
There's so much more.
Okay.
But
What did you learn? Nervous. What did you learn today?
One thing that I can say I learned is the spectrum. Is that to not judge people based on 1 and 10, but consider that there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 levels in between.
Yeah.
Right? Men and women.
Yes.
He's like, yeah, I made a breakthrough. No. He's like,
yes. We're there. Yes. It's going to take a while to digest.
I realize that there are toxic people that are heterosexual as well as homosexual.
Oh, yeah.
And that I shouldn't base my opinion of all homosexuals based on the toxic people that have been hurt or may have gone through something in their life that may respond in the name of all people and homosexual people. I need to keep my mind focused and say, all right, these people probably went through something.
Mm-hmm. All their life they had to fight.
right? So I would say those are the beginning. And if we went back, once I listened, because we've been talking for over 2 hours, once I listened back, there's probably more. I know that you've learned. I know you know a lot of words. You know a lot. You know you've read a lot of books.
Yeah, maybe.
Right? Oh, wait, before we leave. Oh, hold on.
Uh-huh.
I got you something.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I wanted to get you something.
Okay.
All right. So for my show, I have, okay. Are we finished? We done? Almost done?
Yeah. And
Do you have anything you want to say?
Thank you for having me. Like
Have you learned anything today?
Yeah.
Come on, say you learned something from
No,
me.
no, I did. No, I did. I learned a little bit of how straight people learn about sex. Because I honestly didn't know. And now it makes a lot of sense.
So have you never had a conversation like this before?
No.
That's the problem. We need to have more conversations like this.
I've never had a conversation of this because I was nervous at first. And when I was approached, when Mandy set this up, I was like, oh, girl, I don't know if I'm about to be attacked. Mm-hmm. And I know you were nervous because you didn't want to be offensive. And I think eventually I got over it. I was like, oh, okay, let's do it. Whatever.
That's great. Mandy is a horrible friend. She's a horrible friend.
Right. And
how again, she set you up with a person like me? She don't know what I'm gonna do.
Right. So like there is like, I think a lot of times like we do need to have these discussions, but we just don't know where to start.
I think that is very important though, especially when you're talking about people of color, people that are both oppressed.
Yeah.
We have something in common that we can relate to. There's something on the board already. Like you're halfway through, you're halfway around to go already on the Monopoly board. Yeah. Because there's something that you can relate to. You can say, look, the same way you feel about that is how I feel about this. Yeah. But we're scared to talk. We're scared to have that conversation. And I don't know. See, you kind of made me relate back to my own sexuality and my own experiences to say, yo, why do you think this is wrong? Yeah. Like, what happened to you to make it like explain to me. You made me think to myself, why do I think it's so wrong? Like, what happened? Yeah. Right? And I think we need to have more of those conversations. This is the reason why I wanted you on the show. Like, seriously. Yeah. I wanted to have, there were different ways that I could have went about it. Somebody said, have a woman on the show, a gay woman, and have a gay man on the show. I said, no, because they're going to run down on me. It's going to be overbearing on one side. I don't want it to be that way. I want it to be one-on-one, have an intelligent conversation. Was that homophobic what I just said?
No.
Was that cool?
No.
I want it to be one-on-one. Yeah. I didn't want two people yelling, one people offended at something that I might have said to the other person, and it being like, I want it to be something where we can both learn from each other. That's what we did. Now, I came bearing gifts.
Oh, the gays love gifts.
Oh, wait, here it is. I'm taking off my headphone. Hold on.
Okay.
I got you this. Now, this is just a little So Shameless shirt. It's my first to ever give away.
Thank you.
And I got you a hat too. Oh, wait. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
And I got you a hat too. Now, this hat, I have different colors. So,
oh, no, I like this.
You can get a black one. You can get a black and red one. You can get a black and white one. You can just let me know which color you like. I
like this one.
Right? I think it goes with your jacket.
No, I really like this one. No, this is cool. Thank you.
No, I really appreciate you coming. This was, it took a lot of balls. Pause. Thank you all for listening.
If you listen to the whole episode, tweet Tahoe pictures of chicken.
And your head in a bag. Also, listen to his podcast is
Jade and XD. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts except for SoundCloud. But or just go on jadeandxd.com.
And what's your Twitter?
Xavier Dleau.
Dleau.
Yeah.
Xavier Dleau.
Yeah, or you can find me at xavierdleau.com.
And you also know to drop the hashtag So Shameless with your comments. Thank you all for listening. Peace. So Shameless.